All right, something new for you this time. For the regulars, welcome back everyone. This is episode 166. And we're going to talk about really two life hacks that are game changers, two behaviors that if you keep them with you, you can change your life significantly. I'm not saying your experience is going to be like mine, but for me, it changed everything. Now, why are we doing something way different? Well, last week's episode got like 900 views because I put Louis Rossman in the title and thumbnail. It's like 20 times more than I usually get. It's nice to see that some new people got sent to my channel. It's funny, as one of them pointed out in the comments, that it was the same algorithm that I was cursing out the whole episode that actually showed my video to some new people, ironically, right? So, this is, believe it or not, what was on my mind. And up until yesterday, I was planning to do another episode with Louis Rossman as the backdrop, and I would expand more on why I like him so much, touch on one of the many topics he talks about, figuring, hey, YouTube is pushing me out a bit, right, for the first time in a while, so let's capitalize it and reach some new people. Of course, I decided against that better judgment. I have to do the opposite. I'm going to do something completely different, probably entirely different audience. That's just the way it goes with me, right? But I got to go with where my heart is, and I got to share with you without further ado. Life hack number one is, when you feel lazy or bad or just down about something, when you're at your bad times, just search for inspiration. Don't pretend to be inspired. Don't force yourself to, don't search for willpower. When you don't feel like doing something, chances are, even if you manage to do it somehow, you're not going to be much good at it. What you produce is not going to be that good. Doing things by force generally doesn't work, unless you're the federal government or something like that, right? You got to look for inspiration first. Maybe just look in new places, type in a random word, maybe talk to somebody for no reason, right? Just try one of these things to look in a different direction. When your body and mind and heart is telling you that you're burnt out, you're overwhelmed, you're not ready, you're not strong enough to do something, it's good to surprise yourself a little bit and not just force yourself to do what you know you need to do. You don't need to bust through a brick wall at that moment. You need to look around and find the daylight in the brick wall. You find the weak spot in the brick wall, so when you do come back around with the energy, with the health, with the motivation, then you'll get the job done. That's number one. Number two should really be number one, is really the whole reason I said it. But number one sets it all up, right? This is the life hack of all life hacks that is a life-changing thing for me. Produce when inspired. When you have good, just produce something when you have a good time period, when you have a good day. Like, we're just write notes, like a diary. People say every day you should write something, and it's great, but I honestly don't think everyday thoughts are that valuable long term. You're not always creating profound things. Sometimes it's just going to be a down day. And why is that? Life is cyclical. So the way you felt inspired 2 years ago, you may not feel that way for another 2 years. And by that time, you may have so many other variables, hundreds of variables in life, that you might not want to do anything with that. But if you wrote it down the first time originally, then you can go back and at least access that mentality and that vibe of what you were doing at the time. So you could take something out of it, do something with it, without having to be in that state. Because say it is a down day, what you can't do anything. But if you produce one inspired, you give yourself more leeway in life. Now, when you have bad times, don't force it, yeah, but in a good time, have something to show for it, just something, no matter how small. It's okay if you delete it later and it doesn't amount to anything, that's fine. It still matters. Today's Super Bowl Sunday, you know the Snickers commercials? You're not you when you're hungry? That's true. At those times when it feels like nothing can go right, you really, like, everything you touch just turns to dust. Like, the opposite of that is also true, though. When you do feel inspired, when you do glow, when you do attract good things to you, when you're feeling good, you're almost superhuman. And we don't even know what we're capable of. And I'm not going to try to explain that scientifically, why or how, because honestly I don't know. But aura is real. That is a real thing. So all I know is you got to produce something when you're feeling inspired. If you know me, you know how I feel about the importance of production. But I don't think production and consequentialism is the meaning of life or the most important thing in the world. I think it's 50%. I think it's actually seriously, Like one pillar of life is that to me. It is literally just taking action and producing. It's what you actually do. What new thing you create that wasn't there before, whether that's raising a daughter or son, putting out an album, creating a new invention or a book, something new you made up. That all of that makes up about one half of the purpose of life as I see it. The second half is relational joy. It's relationships. You may know that as love, but love has become like a religious word. Whatever it means to you, that's what it means. What I'm describing is your relationships with other people, other living beings, rather like animals, and the environment around you, every object around you, the actual environment and people, with yourself too, with ideas. But I don't focus on that, like self-love, because the people that we're around, the environment that we are in, that actually shapes who we are and whether we like ourselves and what emotions we are feeling at the time and what ideas we hold. A lot of that is precipitated by what feedback do you get from the world around you, from the people around you. But this whole pillar of life, the second one I'm talking about, is about human behavior. Being happy, making the people around us happy. It's about enjoyment. See, God and nature actually tried very hard to make life simple, to understand, very easy and not tricky at all. Things that feel good are good, and we should keep doing those things. Things that don't feel good are not good, and we should stop doing those things. That's basically it. No, that doesn't mean only how things feel as a sensation, as personal bodily pleasure. Also how it feels on the inside, as it relates to conscience, to morality, right? See, we even get a hint in our language. The word for physical sensation is the same word as emotional security and moral righteousness. It's the same word, feel. Very feel. That's it. It's in basically every fucking language that I know of. Feel, chucha, sentire. It's the same thing in all these different languages. See, but this splits into two pillars in a fractal way. See, love and joy is about two things. How it feels for us and how it feels for them, right? For other people. That's where natural law comes from. This is how we get harmony in the world. We apply that universal principle, do no harm, evenly, both to ourselves and to others. That's what it's all about. So relational health is grounded in respecting and honoring others, yes, by not violating their rights, enriching their life experience, all that good stuff, but also grounded in respecting and honoring yourself by seeking out joy and pleasure, like actually living life by enriching your own life experience. As long as one does not infringe on the other, that's what love is all about, literally. So love is the second pillar. The first was what? Production, creation, generation of new things. Another word for all those things is will. But will is another charged word, just like love. So I'm no longer going to say will. I'm going to say productivity guided by inspiration. That's the life hack. Relational joy and productivity guided by inspiration. It literally is love and will. So I guess Aleister Crowley got it right, after all. At least the tagline. This is the quote. There's no law beyond do what thou wilt. Love is the law. Love under will. So it's like an equation, right? Love and will, they're like a fraction. But there's no way I'm gonna have my philosophy bunched in with the life of another person, especially Aleister Crowley. This is no sensei of mine, right? But the two pillars, I absolutely stand by them, and I redefine them. We're gonna rewrite the whole Kabbalah, man. I have respect for all of them, traditions of knowledge throughout history, both the Western and Eastern traditions. To me, they're complementary. They're not contradictory, just like the two pillars. This is what I'm talking about. But there's such disorganization in the world. So I'm done referring to the Kybalion as my source text for universal principles. I'm not referring to the Bible. I'm not referring to any Eastern texts. We need to rewrite this. There's a different way to understand this. See, they're all valuable, all these traditions, but publications that are hundreds of years old, there's some percent poison in all of them, in all of the knowledge traditions, just like with alcohol, Some drinks are going to be wine. They're going to be like 14%. You get the straight vodka, you're going to get 40%. You get the Bacardi 151, you got 75.5%. And then, some beers are only 4%, only a little bit, right? But if you drink enough of them, you're going to get drunk. And the goal here is to become philosophically sober. So I feel like there has been no great philosophical work yet in the 21st century. I'm going to try to do it. But in the meantime, as you look at this with the two pillars, this High Priestess card, the second card, please remember me, Konrad Rogoz, for the twin pillars of not Jacqueline and Boaz, but relational joy and productivity guided by inspiration. Okay? That's what I feel. And so I'm going to leave you with this.
It's only one day to the fight now. How do you feel?
I'm very feel.
How do you feel?
I'm very feel.
Very feel. Yeah. So have a good one. See you next.